everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my wrap up for November and it is no daylight. It is no light at all. But I have to film this now. So I'm sorry. I know it's a bit shite, but we're just dealing. And I'm going to talk about the books I read in November. I read 32 books. I don't know how that happened. It just happened. I reached my goal months ago, but I reached my new goal for 300 books. Again, third year in a row. I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to try to share my thoughts on the books I read here. I'm going to try to go a bit fast because literally do not have the energy to go through thoroughly to 31, 32, how many was it? 32 books. You know the deal. So let's just go. First book I read was actually an ebook and that was The End of All Skies by Vincent C. Sales. This is the first book I did in the vlog, first books I received from publishers vlog, where I talk about all the 4 books more in length and in depth. So I will leave that link down below and I will try to go just quickly through these. This basically is just set in this city. It's a fantasy book and the city is kind of like experiencing a lot of stuff, like bad stuff are happening to it, and then there's like a billion point of views trying to stop it or making sure that this thing happens. And yeah, I didn't love it. The language was really like up in the sky for me and I didn't love how it was written, etc. I guess that's all I want to say. I gave it 3 stars. And then I read The House on Calle Sombra by Margot Ortigas. This one was also for the same blog and it just follows this family that kind of has been, I was going to say, controlling a lot of resources on the islands in the Philippines. Are we in the Philippines? Am I just imagining this? Or at least tropical island nation. Isn't this set in the Philippines? Is that just a dream? I'm pretty sure it was. And then they're kind of losing power in the future in a way because of resources and stuff, they haven't been treating them well. And then we're going back in forth in time a lot in different point of view from this family in this house. And again, it was a bit confusingly written. I feel like it was not good at showing us where we were in time. And you did care about before the family and care about some stuff that was happening, but alas, the way it was written was really not it for me, so I gave this also 3 out of 5 stars. Then for the same vlog, I read A Flutter in the Colony by Sandy Perret. This one follows this family that travels to Malaya and they're running away, and then we also have again flashbacks of why they're running away. And again, this was also written confusingly in a way that I didn't know where we were on time, but this one is the one I liked the least. I feel like it was very everywhere. I was really invested in the beginning of the story and then it completely lost me, and I ended up, I think, giving it 2 out of 5 stars. So yeah, I feel like I was very negative towards these books. I'm sorry, they just weren't it for me, I think. And the last one I read for that same vlog was My American Sister by Judith Tan. This is the one I liked the most, and this follows this family in China where one of their children is taken away because they broke the rule of having more than one child, and then this child is adopted illegally to America, and then we have the family trying to find her over all these years. It's really interesting because I am also adopted from China, and I felt the aspects and stuff happening around that was interesting to read and learn more about. However, I feel the emotional impact the story wanted to have became a bit juvenile because again, how the book was written made it seem really childish, while the book wasn't childish at all. It was actually a really mature and interesting story, but it was dumbed down a lot and I didn't enjoy that. Still, it's the one I enjoy the most, and I could see a lot of aspects to the story that was really interesting, especially with the adoption parts, etc. And the ending was touching. So yeah, I think I also gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It was more a 3.5 star thing. But yeah, again, the one I enjoyed the most in the vlog. It's not I hated any of the books. They just weren't for me that much, which is okay. That happens. Then I read some manga because I was supposed to read manga between every 3rd book, but then I just wanted to finish that vlog, so I didn't, and then I just read all the manga after one another. But where is the manga I read? I can't find it. So I read Ancient Magus Bride by Kore Yamasaki, and this one I actually read in 2017, I believe. Might be 17 or might be 16 in December or something, and I read 6 volumes, and then I never continued because I don't think I had the money to buy the series at the time. But now I'm deciding to restart it and I continue and I'm getting the volumes. Actually, I've gotten a lot of them because Erica gave them to me, but I'm actually going to continue and finish this series. I really did enjoy it. It follows, what's her name again? Chisa, who gets, I was going to say, she gets bought. She is bought because she was sold as a slave by this mage, who is this dude here, and he wants to make her his wife, which sounds, I know, really bad when I describe it like that, but it's actually really beautiful and about her learn to love life again, and it's not nasty as it sounds like when I described it. It's actually really cute and pure, which is weird, but she finds magic within herself and the world, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it is really, really cute, and it's a really, really cool magical world. So I really enjoy it, even though like it definitely has like darker parts because of Jesus' past. Gonna keep reading this. If I am further away, the light actually looks better. Should I just sit all the way over here? We're gonna try. It looks better for me at least. Then I read another manga. So I read Beastars, volume 16, which obviously considers the story, which is by Itagaki. This one follows animals who like live as a human society, just that they don't eat each other anymore. And then we have Lagoshi, who's like really, really pure and nice, but people like think he's supposed to be scary and mean because he is a great wolf, like a predator. And then we just have him living life, and now we're just so much further into the story than that. It is totally nutball, it's totally crazy. I really like the politics and the landscape for the story, and just all the different politics involving these animals, and I just enjoy it so much. So yeah, I'm actually soon done, so I'm kind of terrified, but I'm really enjoying it, okay? The light is really bothering me. Like, should I sit like this? I don't even know. I hate everything. Then I tried to read some of my TBR. I mean, the other books were on my TBR as well. Where is the book? Why is my life a mess? It's right in front of me. So I read Here's to Us by Becky Abatali and Adam Silvera. And this one is a sequel to What If It's Us, which follows these two boys that meet in the post office. And then they kind of fall in love, and like this continues the story, whereas like it didn't end where we wanted in the first one. It's set in New York. It's really like sweet in a way, but this book made me feel like I cannot read YA contemporary anymore, because I feel like now I'm grown too old, which I thought that I never thought it actually happened to me. Just the characters felt so young, even though like they're college age, like. I mean, I guess I'm college age in a way. But it's just like how indecisive they were, how they like acted through their emotions. Just felt like they were like 15. I don't know, like everyone is not on the same like level with their emotions and decisions. It was just the way that the characters made decisions that bugged me. I was just like, are you stupid? I was just very annoyed with them and how the book was written. Which makes me, when I think about it, a bit sad to say. But like, I can't help what I feel. And I was just like, kind of just like, I didn't care at the point. I just wanted to be over, because it just went in one direction that it could go, and then it was over, and I was like, okay, I literally don't care anymore. However, I did feel touched by the ending for some reason, so I did end up giving it 3 stars while I wanted to give it 2, but it ended up on a 3, so there's that. Then I read, I cannot find any of these books, Kamp, døden, or what is it called in English? This is True Blood book 5, which is Dead as Doornail in English by Calle and Harris, and it's called the Saki house who can read minds. The vampires has come out of the coffin, people know about them, but she can't read the minds of the vampires, and then she really gets involved in the world. The book series is honestly pretty trash and like not the best ever, but alas, I'm just going through it because I've been owning them for so long, wanting to read them for so long, so I'm just doing it, and I'm just reading them, okay? So yeah, I don't love them, I don't hate them. 3 stars. It's just like air. I don't know how to describe it, okay? But alas, I'm just gonna read them. Then I continue Noragami, one of my favorite series by Adon Shitoka. This is volume 24. And this follows Yato, who is like a small god. And then the gods can kind of name spirits that are dead, and then they will like become like an object that they can use. This is so weird to describe. But yeah, then we follow Hiri, who like her spirit goes out of her body. She gets involved with the god world through this like spirit realm thing. And it's just a lot about like them. At this point, I don't think the series is like as good as it was in the beginning. It rarely is in manga when it goes on for this long. It's just like, I'm done with this plot. I just want it to be over. I just wish the story was about something else at this point. While I do love the characters and I love the world, I just think the plot is just like dragging. It just takes ages for things to happen. I'm just like, can we be done with this and have the story be about something else with these amazing characters? But I have a feeling when we close this arc, it's gonna be over. I think like that will be the last, but I feel like there's so many unanswered other stuff as well, so I can easily go to like 50 volumes. I don't even know. But I just wish we were done with this thing. I cannot say what it is. I just wish we were done. I think I wouldn't feel this as strongly if I read them all like one after one another, like binge them like I did in the beginning, instead of like reading one a year, and that doesn't really help the story, I think. But I love them. Like, I love the characters in the world so much. Like, literally, I was obsessed. Like, it used to be a big obsession of mine, and now at this point I'm just like sad to read them because I don't feel that same hype anymore, but I still love it, a part of me. It's a weird thing to describe, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Now I used too long talking about this, but going to the next one. And then read Ancillary Justice by Unlucky. This one was the last book I need to read for 12 friends recommended 12 books, and I have a wrap of all that whole challenge up as well, so I will leave that link down below where I talk in depth and rank all the books that I read for that challenge. But basically it follows like AIs, and they supposed to like have their minds in like many different things, but something happens, like a tragedy happens so that she's only stuck in one human body, then she's going out for revenge to like take down the people who did it to them. And yeah, it was interesting. It was a really weird world. It was written a bit complicated and I felt a bit stupid reading it, but I still did enjoy it. While like I didn't think it was amazing, I thought the concept was cool and like part of it was really cool, but I'm also like, maybe I think I need to reread it to like fully immerse myself in the story once again to fully get it, I think. But it was still enjoyable and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, which follows these 2 characters that goes on vacation every summer together. They like fall in love over these summers, but like never of course say it. And then we have like 2 years later since they went on vacation together, but we don't know what happened between them. We try to figure it out. So we get like flashback through all their summers as well as the summers they're in now. And we will see what happens. So like I didn't think I cared as much about the story. It was like a bit jumpy, 40, and obviously it's just like a cute and fluffy book, but I did cry in the end because there's like one thing that touches me in certain stories and I cried. Tears literally bawled out of my eyes. I was like, why am I crying about this stupid book? So yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Dang it. Then I read Kiki's Delivery Service by Eiko Kadono. This one is obviously the one that the movie is based on, and I love the movie. It's really cute. So this just follows Kiki, who is now like grown up and she's gonna go out and like manage on her own as a witch. So she starts a delivery service because she's best at flying on her broom, and it was just so cute and adorable. It's like really vibey with the movie, I think, even though I only watched it once and it's quite a long time since I watched it. But I just really loved how it's written. I really loved how the story went. I wish I could read the sequels, but I don't believe that they are translated in English, so I need to get my Japanese together so that I can actually read them in Japanese. And I just really enjoyed it. It was just such an adorable story and I had a really great time with it. And like I feel like a part of it is like it's a 5-star book, but since I didn't get a certain 5-star feeling, it's a 4-star book, but in a way it is a 5-star book. Then continued Saga volume 7. Well, everyone is reading the news volume 10, so I'm soon getting there. I have volume 8 now as well, so when I read that I will order volume 9, and then it's only volume 10, so there's not that much left for me to catch up on. And yeah, it follows these 2 people here that fall in love. They're from 2 different species that hate each other, have been in a war for a really long time. They get a child together, people try to hunt them down and kill them. This had a really sad ending, and I was really emotional, and it's a really cute story about family, but it's also really badass and cool and spacious for the world, and it's just a really cool and original series. So I really enjoyed it. Then I finished another vlog, which was to read all the Nebula middle grade and young adult nominees or finalists. So I had 2 more to finish that vlog, so I will leave that link down below. And the first one I read, Thronwood by Leah Seifes. This is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, and it follows like Sleeping Beauty's sister, and it follows them when they wake up after Sleeping Beauty has been asleep for 100 years. And yeah, it was just a really cute like spin on the tale. I thought it was like fun to follow, really like whimsical and fun, kind of middle grade. While like I didn't like love everything that was happening, I still had a good time, and there was like still cool reveals, I guess. It was just how it was done was a bit weird, and I feel like this relationship definitely could have been explored more. But at the same time, it's middle grade, it's going to a different audience. I think people would have a lot of fun with this, and I was enjoying myself a lot when reading it. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely read the sequels. Then I listened to an audiobook. Actually, I've been in a really big audiobook slump, so I'm really happy. And I got through I'm Glad My Mom Died by Janet McCurdy. And I never watched iCarly, by the way, because I was a bit too young for it, I think, when it was in its like big days. So I didn't actually know where this person was known from. Like, I didn't know who she was. I just saw the title for the book and everyone was saying it was amazing, so I wanted to read it, and I googled the name and it's like, oh, she's from iCarly. Like, I knew what iCarly was, but I never actually watched it either. This is a bit funny how like you can get to know someone. Oh, my dish looks so pristine because I didn't actually read in it since I listened to the audiobook, since the author reads the audiobook. And this just follows basically her relationship with how she got known and her relationship with her mother. Her mother was very abusive to her, so big trigger warning for that, and it's just the way she writes about it, really open and honest. I was tearful so many times. It reminded me a lot of I was going to say not in my life, but things I know in real life. And it was a really touching story. It was written really, really well. And it was very interesting to hear about this person's life. Even though like I don't care about iCarly, it was just a really good memoir. I can't even say that word. I hate that word. I can never say it. So yeah, I just realized I really enjoy like non-fiction memoirs lately. Like lately, as in not this month, but lately as in like the last few years. I really enjoy listening to them. It gives you more perspectives in life, etc. Because of this kick I got from this, I listened to another one later in the month. But yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, honestly, because it was a really good book. And it had just so many interesting like reflections and life stuff that I feel like it gives an extra punch because it's real, you know? So yeah, really interesting. I'm squishing a pillow and I'm sorry for the noise. I then read Amari and A Great Game by B.B. Alston, which I'm about to read with my friend Cici as well. And we had a great time together. This is obviously the sequel to Amari and the Knight Brothers. I forgot the name. And I've been really, really excited to read the sequel. So this one follows Amari, who finds out that she has powers and she joins this supernatural investigation place. So actually she joins it and then she finds out she has powers. And then she's looking for her brother in the first book has gone missing. And then in this one, there's a game involved, a magical game, and other like, I was gonna say, lurky stuff happening within like the supernatural investigations. It's totally crazy. It ends on a total banger, and I'm so excited to read the third and perhaps final books. Maybe it's coming more, I don't even know. And I really enjoy the story. It's so original and cool and just like a really feel good middle grade that is so like has all the things you want in one, and I had such a good time. So 4 out of 5 stars. Then they have the second book for the Nebula blog thing that I need to read, which is Root Magic by Eden Voice. And this one just follows the 2 twins that is learning now root magic. Their grandma has just died and she was the one who knew like most of the magic in their house that protects their land, etc. And then they also have like this policeman harassing them. She's also bullied at school, and then she gets a new friend, and there's like magical stuff happening, real life stuff happening. Really interesting how like the worlds came together and the relationship between these 2 twins and their family. And it was just a really good book. It had so many good elements to it that I really enjoyed. I have something in my eye. And I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars as well. Then I read Whisper Me a Love Song by Eiko Takashima. This one is volume 5 and it follows these 2 girls that starts dating. One of them like sings. They're really cute. And now they're just like, oh, we like each other, or do we like each other? I don't even know what happened this one. I think there's other people also liking them. And then there's like people found out they like each other, and it was drama. And I didn't love it. It wasn't like the best volume. I didn't really care about like all the different people. I kind of forgot who was who. All of the friends look the same as I remember right now, which sounds really mean. But I didn't remember who was whose friend in this one because it's been a while since I read the last one, which is maybe my own problem. But I just don't care that much. Yeah, it says, what do you do when your friends you just can't get along with each other? I didn't even remember who was whose friend at this point. So that was maybe my own fault, but yeah, not loving it. But this is still enjoyable and fun. I then decided to do my Norwegian books vlog, which is like, I read Norwegian books no one cares about because no one cares about Norwegian books because I was going to say we're English people, and we're not English people, we're English speaking people. So Norwegian books people can't really read. I have a vlog for that whole experience down below. People really enjoyed it, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, these are the books I read for it. Really quick thoughts. So this is 15 Years of Femten by Vigdis Hjorth. This is just like a girl finding out that her mom has lied about letters to her grandma. She like kind of goes out of her like young phase in life and goes more into adulthood, finding like realities about life. It was really short, really weird, written weirdly, no dialogue parts. Like, I just don't enjoy books too much like that are like this. I don't know, it was like totally okay, 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like it didn't like give me much, but it was still like partially enjoyable. Then we have Archetyme or Etterklang by Helga Flatland. I don't have my copy right now because it's in our work because the author was coming by and I wanted to get my copy signed. And this one just follows a woman who has a relationship with a student who is 18 years old. She's obviously her teacher, and then she gets consequences of this relationship. There's also like quarantine, etc. related into like the life because COVID, and then she also like get an affair with a married man, and it's just totally crazy. Our main character is a really dislikable main character. She definitely doesn't get consequences or like doesn't understand consequences for her actions. Very interesting to read about. I cannot stop thinking about the book. Kind of want to reread it. It was just so fascinating and well written that I really enjoyed it. It was also used 2 of the Norwegian written languages in its story, and it was just so well done. I just really enjoyed it. and I could talk more about it, but I do it in the vlog and my voice is kind of dying. But yeah, no, I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars, really strong 4 out of 5 stars. Then we have I'm Really Not Like It, or egentlig, ikke, sånn by Marie Albert. So this one is also, all of them were Norwegian adult contemporary books, by the way, but this one just followed this family that is meaning for one of the eldest daughters in the family confirmation, and then like all of them had like trauma from the past when they grew up. So one of them like used to be really fat, and then she took these operations, so everyone was like, oh my god, you look so great now. And then the other dude is having an affair, their like father also had an affair, and it was just, it's much drama, so much like upspent energy in this family. I really liked it and how it was written. I really liked the suspense of it, and like the family relation dynamics was done really well. So I really enjoyed this as well and gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I was surprised about how many of these I really enjoyed, so it was good choices. It was a good day. Then I took a little break from all the Norwegianness to read a manga, and I read Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 15 by Gege Okadami. We are still in like this one arc in this fight, and I think like it's soon closing. And it's really interesting, but it follows, I always forget his name, Itadori. Yes, he finds out like that curses are real, which are kind of like demons, and then he has like the power to stop them, or not stop them, but like he can train up the power to exercise them. And then he goes to like Jujutsu High, which is where they'll be taught to be Jujutsu sorcerers. And yeah, that's what's going on. Like now they are fighting some of the curses, and that is like about the whole fight between normal people or the Jujutsu sorcerers and the curses. And yeah, it's enjoyable. I had a good time. It's like the system of magic is so complex and a bit confusing, but it's just such a good time, and I love the characters a lot. Then I continued with my Norwegian books. So I read They Call Me the Wolf, or They Kaller meg Ulven by Shezan Shakal, and this one follows this dude who is the son of a Pakistani immigrant as well as a white mother, and it writes about like how he grew up in these two worlds, like not being Pakistani enough, not being white enough, and then about their parents' relationship, how they like divorced, etc. And now that his father has decided to go back to Pakistan to have his life there instead, and his son is dealing with all these emotions that's coming up because of this. I really did enjoy it, even though I thought it could do a bit better showing if we're in present or like in the past sometimes, but it was really interesting reflections in this. I know that the author has written 2 other books that is like kind of about the same themes, I think, and I know they've gotten really good critics as well, and I really do want to read them now because it was really enjoyable and interesting, and I want to read more from this author because I feel like it was a lot of relatable things in it, since I'm also a person who is adopted into a white family, but I am also not white because I'm Chinese but never had any Chinese aspects in my life. So it's interesting to read about, especially since it is from a Norwegian author as well that has these same experiences. It's fascinating. So I learned a lot and experienced a lot in these Norwegian books. Apparently, like, they go to the same stores I do, and I'm like, wow. The last one is not a contemporary one that I read for the vlog. It's Kniven, ilden, or The Knife in the Fire by Ingeborg Avola. This one is just written about, like, it's set in 1859, so it's historical fiction, and it's written about, like, the people, not the Sami people, but, like, the Kvensk people. It has, like, not the proper English name that I can find as I remember right now. It is historical fiction, and it's basically like how they lived at this time. But the book was basically a lot of fishing and an affair. And for me, it was just not enough. And just how it was written, it was just too much up in the air for me. So yeah, I ended up not really enjoying it, which feels a bit bad since I guess the author wanted to write about these people. But the book itself wasn't interesting to me. And I'm sorry, like the author, like she has origins from these as well. And like she wanted to write about it. And I felt like that's really cool for her. But I didn't love this book. I think I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars because I was bored. There was literally fishing, an affair, people were mad, that's all. So I was just like, okay. I skipped over a thing that I read in between that, but it's fine. I read Berserk, Deluxe Edition Volume 3, and I have a whole like video where I read through this and share my thoughts as I'm reading it. So you can check that out down below if you want to. Loved it so much. I followed Guts as a swordsman. We follow his haunted past of what happened with him, etc. before like we see him in the future, like in the first one. And it's just amazing. It's one of the best things I ever read. Just the politics, the monster, the fights, the over dramatics of everything. I love it so much to pieces. Give it 5 out of 5 stars. I just love it so much. I wonder if it would still be as good as we go on in the series, because obviously there's a lot of volumes. But yeah, I'm going to continue this month as well, and I cannot wait because it is just so good. I literally love it so much. I'm not joking. And I just feel like I could go on and on and on, but I just recommend it so much. It's really brutal and totally horrible. So local trigger warnings, but I love it. Then I read Morning Star by Pierce Brown, which is the third book in the Red Rising trilogy, like the first trilogy, and then like he continued the series. So I wrapped up the story, I think, like this part of it, because I think the later ones follows like some of the same characters, but not all. And in this one, we have a main character. Do I remember his name? No, I do not. Darrow, and he is a rad, like people who's like looked down upon, I was gonna say, in the society, and we have the goals who's like everything, like they get everything and are rich and everything, and then he infiltrates them as a gold to take them down from the inside, basically, and that's what the book is about. So it's like also sci-fi, because we on Mars, etc. And I think like it was fine. It wasn't like amazing. I really like didn't love how like this went, because it went just so obvious. So I don't know, it was just totally okay. I think I gave it 2 stars, and I think I gave Golden Sun 2 stars as well. While I did enjoy the first book more, because that was really fun, but I just don't care enough, I think. So there's that. Then I continue My Hero Academia by Kohori Horikoshi, volume 31, Jesus. And this one just follows Midoriya, who's set in this world where everyone has this quirk or superpower, and then he's one part of the population that doesn't have any, and then he gets one, and then he joins hero school, and it's just about him becoming the greatest hero of all time. This one, we finally were done with an arc which we've been in for like a year and a half in my time, like literally like 5 billion volumes, 6 volumes, I don't even know. We are done, and I feel like I released a breath I didn't know I was holding, like serious. I really enjoyed how this story ended, because I did not expect that at all. I thought we would be stuck in this limbo for the rest of my life, but now we have something that I don't know what to do with, and I'm very curious to see what 32 would hold. Will we just go back? Who knows? But we shall see, and I'm very curious to see what will happen. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. Then I read Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. So this one follows Kokoro, who stopped going to school because she's really bullied, and then her mirror starts shimmering. She enters it and enters this castle where they tell her that she can find a key to this wishing room, and if she finds the key and enters this wishing room, she can wish for anything she wants. But she's also there with other people, so they're all gonna look for the key, and they're all there for different reasons, trying to find out why. The reveals and the stuff that came in the end here was just some of the best I ever read. I cried, I laughed, it was just one of the best things ever. I talked a lot about it in my favorites, and my voice is literally dying. So while I love this was a 5-star book instantly when I read the ending. 4-star book all the way through. The ending made the story, and I feel like I shouldn't say that because it's gonna give you unexpected expectations. I loved it so much. It was just so darn good, and I loved it a lot. Okay, my brain cells are dying, so that's all I managed to say right now. Then I read Hell Follow With Us by Andrew Joss White. This is the Facing Gates pick for the month of November, and it follows a trans teen who has run away from this like really Christian cult that wants to use him for stuff. And then he meets this group that is fighting against that, because they're kind of also at like a post-apocalyptic world, like over like basically everyone is dead except a few people. Yeah, they're trying to fight back the Christian cult people. And I actually thought for a moment they were actually like supernatural, like angels and beings. Apparently not. They were just their titles. And I want to say some thoughts from the live show maybe, but like I didn't love this. I thought it was okay, and I really enjoyed some parts of it that I will explain further when we have a live show for it. Like obviously I love the rap, and I thought some parts were really interesting. It was just not executed in a really interesting way for me, and just how some things were explained and like used was like meh. I feel like it was really cool in theory, but then when I read it I was just like okay. I will explain further in the light. I feel like that's like, because to properly explain it, I feel like I really need to go into detail. Concept was really cool. There was a lot of body gore horror that was interesting. I just don't understand some stuff as well. So I don't know. Okay, I don't even know what to rate it. I think like 3 stars for now. It could even go lower, or it could maybe go up to 4 stars if I get some other point of views on it. That would change my mind, I think. Then I was desperate to read a book because I started another one which was a wrong book, And then I was desperate to read something short, so I had something read that day. So I ended up doing the Jade Setter of Janloon by Fonda Lee, which is a novella companion to the Greenwald Saga, which is obviously one of my favorite books ever. And in this one, we just follow a Jade Setter that has this shop that like kind of shapes jade, etc., that they put on their bodies in this world. And then they get robbed, and then they have to investigate, and stuff happens from this. We get cameos from other characters. We get more in this world. It's all I ever wanted. And it was really interesting. Really, really, really good story. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars because I cannot rate it any lower. And I really had a great time. I want more in this world. I just want a full short story collection. I want a full sequel series set, I don't know, 40 years later, 100 years later. Give me anything and I will read it because it's one of my favorites ever. Do you guys even know how many copies I sold of Jade Setter in our store? Because that is a lot and I love it so much. I then read Toilet Bound Hanako-kun by Iro, which is volume 2, which follows Hanako-kun, who is like expert in this toilet. We have a main character who like gets not into a relationship with him, but kind of get wishes from him, and they work together to find his mystery in this school. It's a super, super cute one, super, super fun one. It's very like chaotic and weird, but I like really enjoyed it, especially like the style as well. I was trying to find cute thing, but I couldn't find anything, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's apparently like a billion volumes though, but I'm ready to read them all and enjoy them. So yay, a good time. And now the last book for this vlog that I finished yesterday, which is why I couldn't film it yesterday because I filmed it later in the day, was Educated by Tara Westover, which is the other one I listened to the audiobook on. And again, the author doesn't read this one though, but it is still an interesting one. And it follows Tara, who grew up like in the mountains, pretty far away from people. She grew up with no school, and she tells kind of the story of her life, of how she got educated for stuff and went to school eventually and like learned about, I don't know, life, I guess, and how she grew up really isolated, and her like taking a stand against her family of how they raised her and abused her. And yeah, that's basically the book is about. And obviously when you hear this plot, you kind of want to read it to be like, I want to listen to this girl who lived up on the mountains and just like, I don't know, like lived like savages up there, you know, like that's what you want to hear about. And yes, it is very interesting. And yes, it was very interesting to see her discover knowledge and discover the world and all the things she was kept apart from in the society. And I agree on that. Like, it's very interesting to read about. But there was just some parts of the story that just didn't match with me. At a point, I was just done. I think most people would disagree with me. I think that this is a 5-star thing and like love it to pieces, and it's weird to judge and rate a person's life, but it was just something about the story that made me feel like I had an out of body experience where it was like, can this even be real? Which is really rude and mean to say, I think, considering that this is literally a person's life. It's non-fiction. I don't even know how to say this, but some of it was just so weird. I don't know how to say it. It's not like I don't believe it didn't happen. It just felt so obscure to read about it in this setting. I don't know how to say it, which maybe is the point about the book. It's also like a point to see like her fighting about the world and everything, but it was just something where I was just like, really, and no one think that this is weird. No one, not the people like reading the book, just no one in the world just do anything. They don't think this is weird, but I think that's a part of the book. Like, she's getting education, she's learning that these things are not okay. Other people just, and I just, what? And it's just also something about how I was just like, I don't know, I feel like, again, it's mean to say it, but it felt unrealistic to me, just how this story went, which maybe was also the point. I cannot talk about it. I think it's a very interesting book. I can definitely see why a lot of people loved it, but in the end, I didn't love it. But it's, again, a weird thing to judge, really. Like, honestly, I don't think it's weird to judge it. It's weird to rate it too. I didn't even give it a rating on Goodreads because I feel like it's a weird thing to rate. But like, my enjoyment of it wasn't high. Like, in the beginning I was very invested, but after a while I was just like, can this just be over? But again, if he's weird, because it's a person's life, so I don't know, I can't really give it a rating. I know most people give it 5, but it's definitely not a 5 because my enjoyment was not high enough to be a 5. But yeah, I feel like it's mean to rate it low. I don't even know. I don't know, I'm really curious to like talk to people about it. But it's a weird book to think about, in my opinion. Either way, that was all the books I read. This took ages to film, obviously. And I hope you enjoyed. Vlogmas is now coming after this for 24 straight days, where I hope you enjoy that too. Leave a graduation cap emoji person down below because educated, and you shall see me soon in a new one. Check out my Patreon down below if you want to support my channel further and see more of me this December while outside Vlogmas, and you can see me soon in a new video. Goodbye!